Beethoven's Russian folk song in A minor that you picked is one of my all-time favorite pieces. It's nicknamed Little Minka sometimes, and it's Opus 107, number 7. It's a very tricky piece to play. Beethoven thought about music from an orchestral perspective. So when he composed, he's probably hearing the violins here, the basses here, the cello, and such. And so sometimes his piano works, even though he was a wonderful pianist, an amazing pianist, sometimes his piano works are unpianistic, meaning they don't really fit the hand very well. So very, very often I redistribute notes. So if he said to play the notes this way, 2 in the left hand and 2 in the right hand, if it's easier to do it with 3 in the left hand and 1 in the right hand, that sort of thing. I do that all the time with his Beethoven sonatas because really what he is after is a certain sound. The notes on the page represent a sound that he ultimately wants us to recreate. So I have redistributed the notes. This is how they are typically written, which means you have to hold out this E while these notes change. It's a very, very advanced, like calculus level technical skill. Also, having to play with a pug on your side is very advanced. Miss Dior. So I'm going to redistribute it. And so I've written it out on Sibelius with a new hand division. So instead we're going to have 5 on A in the left hand, 3 on C, and 1 on E. That's just an A minor repositioned triad. And we'll be able to play it very softly. It's the harmony. Meanwhile, we'll be able to bring the melody out. We'll put our thumb on A. Here, I got to put my pug down. She's hogging the bench. It'll be easy to bring that melody out with the accompaniment in the left hand. So easy to hold that chord out while the right hand plays the melody. All right, so one more time, measures 1 and 2. We have an A minor triad in the left hand, then right hand 1 on A. So 4 A's, and then a legato A, C, B, A. So those sounds connect. The A stays sounding until the sound of the C takes over, and the C keeps sounding until the sound of the B takes over. So all the sounds meld together. Legato just means smoothly and connected. So it's a nice little contrast, measure 2 to measure 1. Okay, so now measure 3. We're going to play B with the 4th finger in the left hand, 2 on D, and 1 on E. We're going to play that 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we went from the A minor chord, and we just moved those bottom thirds up. 4, 2, 1. Meanwhile, the right hand's going to have the melody. So we'll talk about that last chord. Just learn that much for now. So together, left hand chord plus 3 on G sharp, 4 on B, 2 on D, 1 on E, right hand 3 on G sharp. Play that 4 times, and then play it again and hold the left hand out. Now, the last beat, very often, this chord is too big for most hands, most children's hands, to be comfortable without getting a twist and a stretch. So we're going to redistribute that measure. You're going to play just a 5th in the left hand. So pinky on E and thumb on B. This is the last chord of measure 4. And then the right hand, this is so cool, you're going to love it. The right hand is going to play 2 notes with the thumb. You're going to play D and E with the thumb. So you're going to play right on this crack there. Isn't that fun? If it feels heavy, just add more arm weight here, the forearm weight. And now add 3 on G sharp to that. And there's your chord using only 2 fingers. You're playing 3 notes using 2 fingers. Is that not cool? So you add the E, B fifth to the D, E, and the G sharp. Isn't that fun? That's how I always spell hard chords like that. I spell it one note at a time from the bottom up. So I play pinky on E, thumb on B, thumb on D and E, and 3 on G sharp. And then I play it all together. So that whole first line, one more time. Then we're just gonna cross 3 over. And here's our fancy thing. Is that not neat? Now, we're gonna come back like the beginning, and you can do this a fancy way. You can play the first A with 4, and then switch to 3. So you go 4 on A, then 3 on A. And if you noticed, I used rotation. I went right, left, right, left. That made it not seem like a big leap at all, and I never had to crowd my fingers together. I could just keep my fingers the natural distance apart from each other, just like they are when the hand hangs freely at the side. So that went. So 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 4, 3. So the first time we did 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1. The second time that melody came in, we did 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 4, 3. Why? Because we're going to play E and G sharp at the same time in this hand. So we want to be ready for that. So 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is measure 6 in the right hand. So we're going to play 3 on A, 5 on C, step down to 4 on B, step down to 3 on A, and then our thumb's going to move to E, and we're going to play 2 on G sharp. So we play E with the thumb and 2 on G sharp. Now, this octave's going to be too big for your hand right now. So you're just going to leave out that E, thumb E, and you're going to leap up and play your pinky on E, like that. And then come back to the 2 and 1 where you just were. Isn't that neat? Leap up to E, and then come right back to your E and G sharp. And then you're going to end with E and A. So your thumb stayed on E, but your 2 stepped up to 3. G sharp steps up to A. I'll do that a few times. E and G sharp with 1 and 2. Then E and A with 1 and 3. Isn't that neat? So, meanwhile, the left hand is doing fifths on E, and then you're going to play your thumb up to C and your 2 on A. Your 2 already is on A, so really all you have to do is move your thumb up to C. Isn't that neat? 1, 2, 3, 4, thumb up. That's pretty easy. That measures 5, 6, 7 to 8. Then the left hand keeps repeating the C's. Then you leap down an octave. So measure 8 is, isn't that neat? 2 on A, thumb on C. So you play the 3rd, then you repeat the thumb, then you leap down an octave to pinky on C. So I'm going to play the left hand measure 7 to 8 one more time. Thumb up. Meanwhile, the right hand was rest. So putting those together, starting at measure 7, we have pinky on E, 1 on B, 2 would be stretchy, 1 on E, 2 on G sharp. So here we go. Thumb up. Probably the hardest part of the piece, or at least in that section, is to hold the right hand out while you repeat the C And then when you get to the third C, that's when the right hand rests. Rests are really hard to do them right when you're supposed to. So that would be a drill. A whole day practice session would probably work on just getting that rest. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And the right hand comes up right on beat 2. So let's play that section one more time before we go on. I messed up the fingering. We're going to do that again. So I kind of cheated at one place. You might have noticed I left out an E. I don't have to. I can get from here to here if I have to. This is measures 1, 2, 3. Measure 4 into measure 5. There's a big leap in the left hand from there to here. But it doesn't feel like a big leap if I just think the closest note. So the closest note is a step down. So I have my thumb on B. And then I'm going to have my pinky on A. Step down, thumb on B, pinky on A. And if I focus on those two notes, it shrinks the distance. It doesn't seem like such a big leap. So it's only moderato. It's not that fast of a piece. See that leap? I did it. It wasn't so hard. I'll do it in slow motion. Starting right here. There's a couple of things happening. You're here, your right hand is on E, and now your left hand's going to be on E. So that might be a drill that you do, playing that fun right hand chord and then the left hand taking over the chords. Then you can add the other notes in. This is a very, very, very hard piece, by the way. It's kind of like calculus. So if you find as you're learning this, even with breaking it down and just learning one measure at a time, it's still too hard, we can put it on pause and then learn it once we are able to get back together. But I'm going to do that in slow motion. We got our pinky on E, our 1 on B, our thumb on D and E, our 3 on G sharp. So there's that chord. Now from the bottom up, I've got my 5 on A, 3 on C, thumb on E, and 4 on A. And I just, I keep doing it from the bottom up as long as it takes. 5 on E, 1 on B, 1 on D and E, 3 on G sharp. All together now. Now 1 on A, 3 on C, 1 on E, 4 on A. So that's a hard shift right there. And then I switch to 3. Now 2 and 1. This time, I'm going to pull my thumb up to C. Not fun. Now, the next section's really easy in the left hand. It's just pinky on C 3 times. But then the pedal is going to go down on beat 1 and then come up on beat 2. And we're going to do that so that it holds the right hand out the harmony for us. Because what's really written is, and to do that in one hand, just like Beethoven says, is very unpianistic. It's not healthy. It will hurt your tendons, it will make you feel bad, and it could even injure you. So we're going to finger right hand measure 9 with 1 on E, 2 on G, and 5 on C. I don't think we've learned this yet unless you did with your last teacher. This is what you call a chord inversion. It's just a C major triad, but we've taken the bottom C and put it on the top. So instead of C, E, G, now it's C, E, G. It's turned upside down. Or inverted, If you invert something, you turn it upside down. So that's first inversion of C major chord. So we do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we leap our pinky up to E and step down. And my pedal goes down and then up. My pedal comes up, the right pedal, the damper pedal, right when I play D. Pedal down, pedal up. So that holds our quarter notes in the alto out for us. The pedal does. So together, isn't that neat? And I can keep my hand small so I don't have to be all stretched out. So the natural distance between each finger is maintained, just like my hand looks and feels when it hangs freely at the side. See, it's not all stretchy like that. The same thing with this one. So there's a leap to get down here, and you might have to practice that leap. 3 on C is a staccato, and it throws you down here to this chord. Thumb on B, 3 on G, and 5 on B. Why am I doing this instead of some other fingering? Well, this is very twisty and stretchy in the hand, especially for a small hand. So we want to be comfortable. Not only did I refinger it, but my thumb is on the edge of the key, and my 3 is more close to the black key area. That keeps, if I were to put it out here, I'd have a twist in the wrist. So that keeps my hand straight in front of the forearm. Isn't that neat? Okay, so I leap. Here's another leap. So we're going to think the closest note, which is 3 on C to 5 on B. That's where my mind is going to focus. 3 on C, a step down to 5 on B. Even though I leaped further because of my hand, it feels very small. It just feels like a step. 3 on C, 5 on B. So all together. Leap. Pedal down, pedal up. So same thing there. The only thing I do in the right hand is I just raise my 3 up to G sharp. It's a cool moment. Beethoven's really groovy. So it's thumb on G, skip down to E, right hand thumb on D, 3 on G, 5 on B. So all together G, D, G, B. Together right, raise 3 up to G sharp, and skip down to E. Isn't that neat? So measure 11 one more time. Thumb on G, thumb on D, 3 on G, 5 on B. So it goes together, right, raise to G sharp, pedal goes down, pedal comes up. So I'm going to do measures 9 through 12. At no point did I feel uncomfortable in the hand. I got the sound Beethoven wanted, and I used just a smarter fingering. And then we're going to play it just like we did before, except the first A will be with 2, and then we'll switch to 3 on A. So in measure 13, it's 2 on A, then 3 on A. So I'm going to start 2 on A, 3 on A. Then it's just like we did before. Only difference is we repeat that chord. If you notice in measure 14, if you compare measure 14 to measure 2, measure 2, the left hand doesn't repeat on the last A. But in measure 14, the left hand repeats. Quarter dot eighths. So the left hand in measure 13 and 14 is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2/8, quarter dot eighths. Adding the right hand. Isn't that fun? So here's another leap. We did this before, if you recall. This leap. So we go from an A minor chord to E and B. Once again, I'm going to think the closest note, which is pinky on A, step up to thumb on B. That's the closest note. And if you notice, after I play this A chord, I flip rotationally this way, turning toward the pinky. Then I swing back to play E and B. This motion gets me there faster as well, forearm rotation. There's a lot of things that make that leap quite easy to do fast. So, starting here at measure 13. Now this is exactly like what we did earlier in the piece. That part is exactly like what we did earlier in measure 5, 6, 7. Except instead of playing this one with 2 and 1, when we return, we're going to play it with 2 and 4. So watch me play the next to last measure. So 2 and 1, pinky, now 2 on E, 4 on G sharp. Why? Because we will be set up for our last chord, the last measure, which is thumb on C, 2 on E, and 5 on A. Now the left hand is a leap to A. Again, I flip this way and then back. And it's like this pluck that sends me. The way I interact with that key sends me. It's kind of like a trampoline when you bounce off. So, and I would actually add a little pedal there eventually. So the pedal goes down and then it changes or it comes up, whatever you prefer. So the whole piece one more time. Went dead. Sorry. And I like a retard at the end. It doesn't say that. It's a very, very tricky piece, but it is worth it. And it's one of those kinds of pieces where you're going to learn probably one measure a week. So if all you learn this week is the very beginning, measures 1 and 2, I would be tickled pink. Honestly. All right, so I'm gonna screenshot the redistribution that I did on Sibelius and send that, and along with the video, and post it on your webpage.